Hey, girlfriend, you know who you are. You have big, big dreams. You want to write a book, stand on a TED Talk stage, be a life coach offering wisdom from your RV in Montana, a cafe in Barcelona, or a beach chair in Tulum. Your other girlfriends and your family, they don't always get your biz savvy. Why do you want to leave your JOB? Because you're a C.A.T.S, aka coach, author, thought leader, and speaker. Meet other change makers like yourself and find out how they make it happen. This is the Big Meow podcast.
Welcome to the Big Meow podcast, brought to you by C.A.T.S Networking. I'm your host, Angela Howard, and I'm here today with Morganne. I've got to say it. She spells her name with an E at the end because she's embracing that feminine name of Morganne. So Morganne, thank you so much for being here today. Morganne is I love this. She's a professional speaker, but the cool thing about her is she is an intuitive, holistic psychotherapist. She has a degree in psychotherapy, but she's also brought in the spiritual side. Cannot wait to hear more about that. Her business name is Journey CBT, and I said CBT in counseling, not CBD, which stands for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. And from one psychologist to another, I can't wait to hear how you've merged your world. So welcome, Morganne.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Angela. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, and thank you for taking time out of your busy day. So tell us about your that merged way of helping people from the psychotherapy and from the holistic. Well, first of all, you told a little bit in your rap sheet how did you get there?
How did I get there? How did I get there in terms of my own personal journey or like helping other people?
I think your own personal, because you started out with like a doctor, and then you went into the holistic side. And I tell you, I work with some people like this. I have friends that are on both sides, and they're really working to merge those for their clients, for their patients. They like to call them clients. And I'm just curious how you got to merge those two and how you do it with your clients.
Absolutely. The key is when you're a real seeker and you really want to know what health is. So that's the key. The key is a lot of times folks focus on what illness is. When you start to focus on what the answer is, the path is going to lead you there. And so the holistic health aspect is going to come on board. Again, there's lots of different components, so there's spirituality, there's like food is medicine, there's consciousness, there's mindfulness, there's the integration of just mind, body, soul. So you go there, you're gonna find that answer to health. And it's like when you figure that out and you cross over to the wellness part, you're like, what are we doing here? Just trying to be less sick. No, let's try to be well. And so that's what I do. I show folks that, I do the clinical aspect, but I also just map them right on the wellness. Like, let's just do this right from the go. So anyway, so that's what I do.
So I'm curious, do you have like a program? Do you have like 5 bullet points, or how, condense it for us, but how do you work with people?
Sure. So of course, there's a part where you're always meeting a person where they're at, or, it's person to person. Generally speaking, the path to health is authenticity. So that's when we are embodying our core or our inner self. So that's one. So that is always going to be there. And then it also just depends on what they're dealing with. But generally speaking, everybody's going to deal with depression, anxiety, attachment. A lot of folks also deal with trauma. And the reason that is, folks feel depressed when they're not being true to themselves. When you're not being true to yourself, or you're not being true to your authenticity, you're going to have issues that you need to face. So you're going to be anxious. So that anxiety, when it's out of check, it's just really telling you, hey, you've got stuff that you need to face to realign, and kind of get your ego in check. Your ego should be following your essence, So when our ego's in the forefront, it doesn't feel good. It does not feel good. So, and then the last part is attachment, So most folks just accept insecure attachment, but the solution is you need to attach to yourself, which is the place of the unconditional, because how you bond with other people is a reflection of how you bond with yourself. So so across the board, that's what we do. And a lot of times I do trauma as well. I work with a lot of folks that have some aspect of diversity, and something else that I really became attuned with, because I've had to deal with it myself, is really deep programming from societal scripts. So having that emphasis and love for intersectionality and seeing it as complexity because you have to let go of the way that society sees you to take in who you really are. So that's also another part of the healing process. I do it in my sleep. I love it though.
Wow. Yeah.
So
That is very complex. Just whether it's diversity or the way you look or any of that, but just to get people to look inside. While you were talking, I was sitting there thinking, yeah, the way she says it, it's like, oh, you just get in touch with your core. And I'm like, it's not that easy because it's very scary to, and I love the connection you made with, if you're depressed, then probably you're not listening to that little voice, which you hope becomes a big voice, but that
yes.
calling inside. Okay, so here at C.A.T.S, we love to share wisdom nuggets with each other. And that's how we all help each other out, right?
Yes.
Give us a wisdom nugget. Like if somebody's out there suffering with, I just don't get it, I'm not happy, what's wrong with me? Those things that go through our head, give us a little wisdom nugget to help us, a stepping stone on the path back. Help us out.
Absolutely. So if you're having those thoughts that are moving through your awareness, one, it's okay because you're not your mind. So that's the first thing. So we'll start with your consciousness. So that I know that like that sounds far out there, but having a detachment from it is going to free you up. A lot of times people think that they are their thoughts. But the other thing is, if you feel triggered there, really ourselves lay out the path for where we need to heal. So that content that's in your awareness is actually a place to be grateful, because that's where you need to start healing. It's not out here, it's not out there, it's right in front of you. You know what I mean? So you want to embrace it, get into gratitude, like, thank you that I know this is the belief that I need to, work through. I'm not that belief. I don't know necessarily, I don't have to deal with it right away, but I just need to know that this is a place for me to start healing. So I don't necessarily remember what belief that you said, but yes, so we show ourselves our own path of what we want to do. We never give ourselves too much to do at once. So it's a place of gratitude.
And even though we're entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, we have to have relationship with people we work with, people inside our homes. Entrepreneurs tend to be, cat-like reflexes. We have to pivot. It's because we don't have a, support system, let's say a business behind us. We are it. How do you get the clue? So you're in relationship and you're having these thoughts that you just talked about. How do you deal with, so you're not blaming that person? This whole concept is like, thank you, person that makes me drive my nails on a chalkboard. Thank you so much because you're showing me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So physical reality is a mirror, right? Yeah. We never get upset at someone trying to be a better self. We never get upset when we get clarity. When we get clarity, we know what to do. I know what's biting me in the ass. Do you know what I mean? So
that's the first clue.
Yes, right. Versus because when we're in more pain is like generalized. It's all over the place. It's that way in terms of physical health. It's that way in terms of mental health. People don't know what hurts. So they don't know how to get better. When you know what hurts, you know how to start making it better.
And would you say that if something hurts, okay, their words, their way of acting, how do you turn that mirror?
Right. So I think, you're asking me a couple questions and I love them. There's different phases of consciousness, right? So the first phase, we kind of say it like it's like a victim mindset where we're blaming other people. We're not in this place where we're taking responsibility. In the psych world, we kind of say that's a low locus of control. So if you're seeing that like across the board, that these different things, the first thing you want to ask yourself is like, what are these things trying to teach me? You want to come into the place where you're taking responsibility for your life, because you wake up to it, even if it doesn't mean that these people were right. It doesn't mean that accountability doesn't need to happen. Doesn't mean justice doesn't need to happen, but it just means that you're in charge of your own life. And so that active position is powerful. So I think, that's the first thing, if you're just seeing it like across the board. But if you start to see themes, again, that's kind of where you get into that mindfulness, that meditative space where I'm taking like this objective, loving step back and I'm saying, what do all these things have in common? You know what I mean? How can I love myself here? The things that these people aren't doing is typically what we need to give ourselves. So if you see that, like, I don't know, everybody tends to be criticizing you, maybe you want support. Well, it's time to support yourself. Maybe you're seeing that people aren't being loving, people aren't being positive with you. Again, it's a mirror, it's a reflection. So you just want to start giving that to yourself. And there's different versions of self, you know, so even if it's present moment you to future you, or if it's the core authentic you, that's really where you want to work towards with present you. So anyway, but yes, it's a mirror. It's great.
So share with us quickly a recent success story.
Sure. Oh gosh, I've had a lot. So a lot of my folks have been having some breakthroughs about what their purpose is. And so that has been like, it's a miracle to watch every time. And so even thinking about C.A.T.S, you know, the kind of people that we're people that we need to live our life purpose to be happy. Usually our people say that we're unrealistic dreamers and that sort of thing. So actually the folks that I work with tend to have this personality. And so to see them like spread their wings and fly and believe in themselves, I mean, it's amazing, you know. So some people are like starting to run for office, you know, people that want to do film. I mean, like it's major things, you know. And so it's wonderful and beautiful to just believe in them and just, you know, soar with them and be a part of that story. I never, ever take it for granted. It's a miracle every time.
Wow, Morganne, how do we find you?
Sure. You can find me on LinkedIn. My handle is Morganne V. So I'm going to spell that out. My first name's spelled a little differently. MorganneV. So that's LinkedIn. You can find me there, or you can find me on my website, www.morgannev.com. So.
All right, Morganne with an E.
Yes.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us and giving us so much lovely wisdom and support. You're really your wisdom was very supportive. So thank you so much. And thank you for being here. We wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you. That's why I'm here on the planet. Happy to be here.
Thanks for listening to the Big Meow podcast, sponsored by C.A.T.S Network. If you liked what you heard, please take a moment to subscribe and share this podcast with your friends. You can also join our network filled with positivity and possibility. Visit www.catsnetworking.com to join us and learn more, together with your magical, motivated, and mystical new friends at C.A.T.S Network. Let's transform 1 million lives with your message. Are you feeling isolated, sitting at home in your PJs? Or perhaps you're tired of the comfy sweatpants with holes in them that are hidden just below the camera? I mean, you could puke at the thought of another day of Zoom meetings and reporting to your BOSS. Do you want freedom from your home office desk or the office cubicle? Do you want freedom from your current career? Or are you frustrated that your online biz dreams are going nowhere? It's all too overwhelming. Where do you start? All the tech, the choices, and your message. Yep, I said your message, your brand, your voice. What is it? Do you even know what that means? Do you need a biz coach but don't want to invest the big bucks? Let's face it, being a solopreneur is lonely, but you don't have to do it alone. And here's a solution. Join C.A.T.S Network. C.A.T.S Network is a woman-only membership community exclusively available to you, the life coach or executive coach, the author, the thought leader, or the public speaker. If you identify with this list or want to work on adding some of these to your skill set, C.A.T.S is the place for you. Check us out at www.catsnetworking.com. That's C.A.T.S networking.com. Because let's face it, cats are better together.